What's up guys, Nolan here. I've been busy playing Ashes of Creation, which for those that are curious, I'll be covering that game on this channel as well, so stay tuned for stuff on that if you're interested. Which also on that subject, if you happen to also be playing Ashes of Creation Alpha 2 and are looking for people to roll with, join the Discord and ask. We are starting a guild. So because I was busy with that, I didn't have a chance to post about the latest Broken Arrow news, which was that they confirmed the Russian Marines and are going to have a closed beta test. They also posted signups for that closed beta test yesterday, so there will be a play session before the open beta, which starts on the 12th, aka 2 weeks away as of today. That closed beta will be under NDA. You can't talk or show anything from it, but you will be able to get to play. So of course, if you're into this game like I am, you'd be interested in just being able to play. And if that is the case, there is the sign up linked below. We will be playing the new patch that will be in the open beta, of course, which now we have this US airborne deck as well as the Russian Marine deck. I keep saying deck SPEC because it's not just a deck. You get to choose something else, as we know, but I come from war games, so I'm definitely going to keep calling these decks until I don't know. It's probably going to take forever for me to stop doing that. Anyway, the style of the Russian Marines are very similar to the United States Marines. Very good infantry and vehicles that can traverse water. The infantry is included with that for the Russians, as they will be getting the PDSS teams, which can literally swim across bodies of water to infiltrate enemy lines. They can be equipped with ADS rifles to shoot underwater as well, making me think the Navy SEALs will be able to do the same. You have some underwater fights there. That is, of course, whenever the Navy SEALs do get added. They're not in yet. We'll have to wait and see. So unless these guys have a limit to the distance that they can go, no coastline is safe when playing against a Russian Marine, because they can pick a spot and swim there whenever they want, whenever they want. Presumably undetectable while in the water, but we'll have to wait and see. The VMF are your Special Forces Recon. They get anti-material sniper rifles to match the airborne 50 cals. Reminder, sniper rifles ignore cover in urban environments, while marksman rifles ignore 50% of that cover. So when you hear about the anti-material sniper rifles, those are long range that ignore cover. So very dangerous there when it comes to infantry. The BTR-90 should be spicy with the choices of weapons, but no APS. If you haven't noticed yet, I basically have two tiers of vehicles in this game in my mind. There's those with APS and those without, where they all essentially have the same jobs. If you have APS, you push. If you don't have it, then you support. The BTR-90 here will be a nice support vehicle. However, if you catch it in the open and you have ATGMs, that thing is going to go poof. The Cherny Beretti, if that's how you pronounce it, is the Marine Raider counterparts with 14-man squads. We'll see what their availability is like. If it's more, then these are going to be pretty crazy spammable units, I'm sure. The Gornostrelki are back with SVD marksman rifles and Metis ATGMs. Again, depending on their availability, these could be significant threats in urban environments, but no matter what, they will be something to watch out for. Russian Marines have the Conquerors M teams, just like the armored and airborne, or is it armored and is it armored and airborne, or is it just one of them get the Conquerors M teams? I thought it was armored, maybe not. They also get SPG squads for anti-vehicle as well. So all in all, the infantry will be a force to be reckoned with for sure, some of the best. When teamed up with armored, these guys can be dropped off with armadas too, so pretty crazy combo there. Speaking of vehicles, they do get some more with the BMP-3s and BTR-80s being my top choices for the IFVs, other than the BTR-90s, of course. Limited missile protection there. There is no APS on these either, but still useful fire support and will likely be plentiful, as well as somewhat cheaper with their availability. They get the T-80 BVM, which is a useful modern tank, but again, no APS. If you team these guys up with armored for the T-14s, T-15s, and the rest of the stuff that gets APS over there, I'll likely just use the extra points to stack more APS tanks or vehicles, but if there are some points left over, we'll see where the BVM stacks up against the armored specs T-80s. You get a bevy of mortars and SPGs, including the Bereg, which those have been played in that single player mission, or should I say played against in that single player mission from back in the day. And if you have done that, then you know that they can engage helicopters, so we gotta watch out for that too. It doesn't stop there with support, as you will get the Iskander missiles with an option of 2 large or 4 small cruise missiles. The large missiles are, quote, hard or impossible to intercept when flying back down to Earth. So if you don't have something that can intercept it on the way up, you're in trouble. You get the Tor M2DT, which is your regular Tor, but you can also upgrade it to the Pantsir missile system. No guns though, just the missiles from the Pantsir. You get the Strelets and the Shilka. If I'm going to use these, they will likely be for seed traps or fire support. If you are able to turn the radar on, and seed planes will actually recognize that radar, basically just soaking up seed missiles if I forget to turn off any seed, or if I just want to leave them on so that my seedable targets can engage the seed planes while the seed missiles go for these Strelas or Strelets. Then you get the S350 with 12 missiles a pop great for interception and short-range anti-air. The choppers you get, the KA-29, which I probably won't use. However, the KA-52K will likely be in every single deck that I can possibly put it in. It's got the same loadout as the airbornes except for 2 less pylons, but also includes seed missiles, the new fire and forget ATGMs, and cruise missiles. It will be tough to decide which loadout to take. The Mi-38 will be a nice logistics and transport chopper, but that's pretty much it. Up a bit higher in the air, we got the AN-72, which can fly Napa the Earth to drop troops and supplies off, but can also do a bit of ground attack while down there with cannons and missiles. Or should I say rockets. The MiG-29K has a short range, but can put out some R-37s, or what am I saying, R-77s, as well as 4 cruise missiles a pop. The Su-33 looks like it should have modern stuff, but it doesn't. It's basically a faster Su-25 from the sound of it, where its main role will be ground attack, although you can put some nice air-to-air on it if you want. So not great in the air when it comes to air superiority for Russian Marines. Now, when it comes to ground support or ground attack, it's okay. And the same can be said for the bombing runs. The Tu-142 can carry 8 cruise missiles and loads of bombs, but if I wanted to bring bombs, I'd rather use the Tu-22 here. It gets faster cruise missiles and can bomb at high speeds with up to 8 laser-guided CAB 1500s. Those have been a menace every game, and if you can speedily drop 8 of those across the front, it'll turn the tide, I'm sure. Depending on the cost, of course, which will likely be expensive, so maybe it'll turn the tide for your teammates at least, since all your points are going to be tied up in that plane. You got a Yak 38. I don't think you should use this compared to the others, but have fun with it if you want. Your local support player is going to like using this spec for all the artillery, just like we saw with the US last test, the HIMARS. These guys are going to have a riot with the Bereg and Iskanders and all those cruise missiles from this deck. It'll pair nicely with either armored or airborne, as the infantry are sneaky and tough. I'll likely pair this with airborne more often as a ground attack and air superiority role. The ability to bait radar AA, then seed from so many different places could be spicy. The AA net that you can put up if you go armored would be top notch, and like I said earlier, the T-15s can get these infantry to the front safer, push harder, and hold that ground better. Let me know what you guys will be doing with this deck, or spec. There I go again, calling it deck. We got a sneaky bit of news at the end of this one as well, where the devs confirmed there will be 5 specializations for each nation at launch. So the US has armored, marine, and airborne that we know of. We believe they will get a special forces spec in coming days, or in the coming updates, but well, before release, with release, whatever you want to call it. We assume that there's a special forces spec coming. But the 5th is a mystery and could be a toss-up from a Navy specific, a Air Force specific, that includes ships and landing craft, to a mechanized specific spec with maybe better availability to Bradleys or Strikers, but the Strikers work for special forces, so we're not sure. Russia, on the other hand, we know we'll be getting a Motostrelgi spec because they've already shown the trailer for it. So it will be armored, mechanized, marine, and airborne. Not sure what else would be left there unless they too get special forces, or they get a Navy deck, maybe a support deck. If they want to go hand in hand with what the US is bringing, then they're probably going to go special forces at least. They do have some crazy ones with Spetsnaz units or something. We'll have to wait and see, but until then, let me know what you guys think. Regardless, we are 2 weeks away from the open beta, and a lucky few will get to play before then. If I do get to play before then, you won't see or hear anything from me about it because it will be under NDA. We will be getting 2 more devlogs before the open beta starts on the 12th, so I will see you guys on Friday for the next one. To support what I do, click all the buttons on the screen or come by a stream. Follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, all linked below. Check out my other stuff for other games here. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.